There are a few different ways to approach this problem. Here's a more algebraic approach. Let's say that the number of adults equals A and the number of children equals C. So we have these three averages, and of course we can't add or subtract averages, but we can change the average equation to the average times the number of people equals their sum. So we could figure out the sums. So the sum of the adults, that would just be A times 60, 60A. The sum of the children, that would be their average 24 times C. And of course, what's the sum of everyone? The sum of everyone is all the people, which is A plus C, times their average, which is 30. And this will we can just write this out as 30A plus 30C. Well, it must be true that the sum of the adults plus the sum of the children equals the sum of everyone. So it must be true that 60A plus 24C equals the sum of everyone, 30A plus 30C. Subtract 30A from both sides, we get 30A plus 24C equals 30C. Subtract 24C from both sides, we get 30A equals 6C. Divide both sides by 6, we get 5A equals C. And from this, we want the ratio of A to C, adults to children. So 5A over C, divide both sides by C, we get 1. And then divide both sides by 5, A over C equals 1/5. So we go to the answer choices and we select 1/5, answer choice C.
All right, let's begin with column A. To find the average of these three numbers, we'll first find their sum and then divide this sum by 3. Now to simplify this, we'll take our numerator here and factor a 3 out. And now we see we can eliminate these two 3's to get the following. So this is the value of column A, and we're comparing this with column B, 3 to the power of 4. Now notice that this portion right here is already greater than column B. So as such, column A must be greater than column B, which means our answer is A. Okay, let's begin by listing all of our animals. Now to make it easy, let's say that each of our 5 cats weighs X pounds. So the average weight of the cats would be X pounds. This means that the dog's weight would be 3X pounds, which means the total weight of all 6 animals will be 8X pounds. We want to find the value of the following fraction. So the dog's weight is 3X pounds and the total weight is 8X pounds. This simplifies to be 3/8, so our answer is C. Okay, to solve this question, I'm going to find conflicting sets of values for W, X, and Y. Now when using this technique, it's often useful to begin by looking for values for the variables such that column A equals column B. Now notice that if we let W, X, and Y each equal 30, then the mean and median of these three values is equal to 30. So in this case, column A is equal to column B. Notice that we could also let W, X, and Y equal 1, 1, and 88. Using these three numbers, we see that the mean is equal to 30 and the median is equal to 1. So using these values, column A is greater than column B. So as you can see then, the answer must be D. To calculate the average of 4 numbers, we need the sum of those 4 numbers, and then we'll divide this by 4. The question tells us that the average of 5 numbers is 3x plus 4. So, using this rule, we can see that the sum of those 5 numbers will be equal to 5 times 3x plus 4, which is equal to 15x plus 20. Now one of those 5 numbers is 7x minus 4. So we can calculate the sum of the remaining 4 numbers by taking the sum of all 5 numbers and subtracting 7x minus 4. When we simplify this, we get 8x plus 24. Now let's go up to our average calculation. We now know that the sum of our 4 numbers is 8x plus 24. When we simplify this fraction, we get 2x plus 6, so our answer is D. Okay, our goal here is to find the mean value of the set. Now, since we are given information about the mean and the standard deviation, let's let M represent the mean value of the set and let SD represent the standard deviation. Now, first we are told that 12.5 is 1.5 units of standard deviation above the mean. This means that if we take M and add 1.5 times SD, this expression will represent 1.5 units of standard deviation above the mean, and this we are told is equal to 12.5. Next we are told that 8.9 is 0.5 units of standard deviation below the mean. So if we take our mean and subtract 0.5 times SD, this must be equal to 8.9. At this point, we have a system of 2 equations with 2 variables, which we can solve using any number of approaches. I'm going to subtract the second equation from the first equation. When we do this, the m's cancel out. Next, 1.5 SD minus negative 0.5 SD gives us 2 SD, and 12.5 minus 8.9 gives us 3.6. From here, when we divide both sides by 2, we get the standard deviation is equal to 1.8. Now, our goal is to find the value of m, the mean of the set. So let's take one of our equations, say this one, and replace SD with 1.8. From here, when we solve this equation for m, we get m is equal to 9.8. So the mean is equal to 9.8, and we will add that up here. Okay, let's begin with column A. If we want to find the average of x and y, we need to know the value of x plus y divided by 2. Now, the only restriction we have on the values of x and y is the fact that the sum of w, x, and y must equal 21. Now, given this restriction, we could have the following values for w, x, and y. In this case, the average of x and y is equal to 7, and this is equal to column B. However, given the same restrictions, we could also have the following values for w, x, and y, and in this case, the average of x and y is 6. In this case, column B is greater than column A, so since we cannot definitively determine which column is greater, our answer must be D. To begin, we are told that the average of 2 numbers, A and B, is equal to J. So using the following rule, we know that the sum of those 2 numbers will be equal to 2J. Similarly, we are told that the average of 3 numbers, C, D, and E, is equal to K. So using our same rule, we know that the sum of those 3 numbers must equal 3K. Now we want to find the average of A, B, C, D, E, and J. To do this, we'll find the sum of all 6 numbers and then divide by 6. Now A plus B we already know is equal to 2J. And C plus D plus E we know is equal to 3K. And to this we'll add J. From here we can simplify the numerator. And now we can divide both top and bottom by 3 to get J plus K over 2. So our answer then must be C. Alright, the question tells us that the average of 5 numbers is equal to 2. So by applying the following rule, we know that the sum of those 5 numbers will equal 5 times 2, or 10. Now if the sum of the 5 numbers is 10, we can write the following equation. From here we'll simplify the left-hand side, and finally we'll subtract 17 from both sides to get x equals negative 7. So column A equals negative 7, in which case column A is greater than column B, and our answer is A. Let's begin by rewriting set A down here. We're told that the mean of this set is equal to 6.8, and the standard deviation is 3.6. This means that 1 unit of standard deviation is equal to 3.6. Similarly, 2 units of standard deviation is equal to 7.2. Now using this information, we can calculate 1 unit of standard deviation below the mean. This will be equal to our mean of 6.8 minus 1 unit of standard deviation, 3.6. When we do this, we get 3.2. We can also calculate 1 unit of standard deviation above the mean. This equals our mean of 6.8 plus 1 unit of standard deviation, 3.6, to get 10.4. When we combine this information, we get a range of values that are all within 1 unit of standard deviation of the mean. To determine how many values in set A are within this range, we should first rearrange them in ascending order. When we do this, we can see that there are 7 values that are all within 1 unit of standard deviation of the mean. So our answer here is E.